when heaven stood with me. A testimony of survival, truth, and restoration. IverLove. Welcome back to our dating corner, a sacred place where we build our relationships upon truth, clarity, spiritual vision, wisdom, and love. Sometimes things are not becoming worse, they are simply being brought into the light. One veil at a time is removed, revealing the wounds within humanity and the failures hidden inside the systems surrounding us. I see you. Some of you are still sleeping, others are already preparing to face another demanding day. Every person lives according to different responsibilities, needs, and seasons. But many nights while the world sleeps, I remain awake in prayer. Prayer has become my weapon. Not a weapon against human beings, but against despair, hatred, temptation, fear, and every force that tries to separate the human soul from God. I know this battle because I have lived it. There was a time when dependency, destructive choices, confusion, and unhealthy environments pulled me toward an abyss. I saw what intoxication could do to the eyes, speech, behavior, judgment, body, and spirit. I watched people disguise their brokenness beneath appearances while privately fighting battles they were afraid to acknowledge. I recognize those signs because they once existed in my own life. I am not speaking as someone standing above another person. I am speaking as someone who was there. I lived it, I tasted it, I became wounded by it, and through the mercy of God, I survived it. There were environments where weakness was exploited and escape felt almost impossible. When I attempted to change, some people did not celebrate my transformation. My recovery threatened the version of me they understood and benefited from. I was judged, humiliated, rejected, and misunderstood. There were moments when I felt that people wanted to keep me trapped in my former identity so that the truth about what I had survived would never come into the light. But they did not succeed. My worst season did not become my final destination. Beneath the shame, fear, and confusion, there was something darkness had underestimated. The light within me, God within me. When I could no longer recognize myself, God remembered who I was. When I had no strength left to climb, His mercy descended into the valley and carried me. But leaving the abyss did not immediately end every struggle. After surviving the destruction within me, I began confronting failures around me. I encountered systems and authorities that sometimes appeared indifferent to the human beings they were supposed to serve. I experienced interruptions in food assistance when I was already struggling to eat. I experienced transportation difficulties while living with medical limitations that made traveling and carrying necessities extremely difficult. I faced delays involving documents required for essential assistance. I lived through periods without stable income while medical conditions prevented me from working as I once had. I faced uncertainty involving housing, healthcare, disability support, and the basic resources necessary to survive with dignity. I had once worked as a medical case manager helping people experiencing homelessness and illness later. Life placed me on the other side of that same system. I became the patient. I became the person asking for help. I became the human being waiting for someone to recognize that a delayed form, unanswered message, or interrupted benefit was not merely paperwork. It affected whether I could eat, travel to an appointment, receive treatment, or remain safe. There were even nights in my life when I had no home and slept on streets or at bus stops. These experiences changed the way I see authority. I learned that corruption, discrimination, abuse of power, negligence, and institutional indifference can exist wherever human beings possess influence without accountability. Harmful people can work within governments, healthcare institutions, benefit programs, housing systems, religious organizations, corporations, and even households. A uniform, title, license, office, or position does not automatically guarantee integrity. At times, the repeated obstacles made me feel deliberately targeted, as though people within different institutions were connected and determined to stop me. Those feelings were intense and frightening. I will not deny how real this suffering was.
But I have also learned to distinguish between what I experienced, what I can document, and what I cannot yet prove.
Some barriers may have resulted from administrative failure, neglect, prejudice, individual misconduct, or broken systems rather than one coordinated program. Therefore, I will not accuse every person or authority without evidence. I will speak the truth about what happened to me, without allowing fear to write conclusions that wisdom has not confirmed. This is part of my healing.
I document what can be documented. I seek explanations. I use appropriate legal, medical, and administrative channels. I speak with trustworthy people who can help me examine the situation clearly. I pray for discernment because not every delay is persecution, but neither should genuine injustice be ignored. Systems may contain corruption, but they also contain compassionate people trying to help. I have encountered both. My testimony is not that everyone in authority is evil. My testimony is that no position of authority should place anyone beyond accountability, and no suffering person should be dismissed merely because their story is difficult to hear.
In human eyes, I often appeared completely alone, but I was never alone. Heaven stood with me. When assistance was interrupted, God sustained me. When transportation became uncertain, God continued opening paths. When illness weakened my body, He strengthened my spirit. When paperwork and institutional delays treated my survival like a number, God reminded me that heaven knew my name. When people questioned my identity, He reminded me whose I was. They could not silence the testimony God was creating through my survival. Today I stand healthier, wiser, stronger, and more grounded. Not because every problem has disappeared, but because those problems no longer possess authority over my identity. God has brought me too far for me to surrender now. Beloved ones, I am not sharing this testimony to encourage judgment, retaliation, or hatred. Judgment belongs to God. Our responsibility is to expose injustice responsibly, protect vulnerable people, pursue accountability, and refuse to become like those who wounded us. I forgive those who judged me without understanding my story. I forgive those who humiliated me while I was vulnerable. I forgive those who delayed assistance without considering the human consequences. I forgive those who damaged my reputation, questioned my integrity, or treated my illness as an inconvenience. I forgive the people and institutions that failed to see my humanity. Forgiveness does not declare their actions acceptable. It does not eliminate accountability or require me to remain silent. Forgiveness means I will pursue truth without surrendering my soul to vengeance. God did not rescue me from one prison so that bitterness could build another. If you are facing repeated institutional failures, or believe someone is abusing power against you, do not panic and do not face it alone. Preserve documents, record dates, and communications. Seek trustworthy legal, medical, pastoral, or advocacy support. Ask grounded people to review the evidence with you. If fear becomes overwhelming or you feel unsafe, reach out immediately to a qualified professional or someone you trust. Faith and practical wisdom belong together. Scripture tells us, submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. I will resist despair. I will resist bitterness. I will resist every invitation to return to who I used to be. I will not surrender my identity to fear. I will not faint beneath the weight of hardship. I will not return to the abyss from which God delivered me. I belong to God, I carry a mission and a purpose. No rejection, illness,
institutional failure, injustice, interrupted benefit, or human decision can erase what heaven has written over my life.
Beloved one, if you recognize yourself somewhere within my testimony, remember this.
God sees you, your suffering is not invisible. Your life still carries value, your voice deserves to be heard. And your story is not finished until our next communication. Stay connected, remain true to yourself, walk with discernment, document the truth, guard your heart, and above everything, remain in prayer.
I survived what was meant to silence me. Now the life they thought would disappear has become a testimony no darkness
Can erase with love, IverLove.
My strength is fading. Can you still see me here? My soul is like a candle, leaning gently with the wind. Yet within this sacred silence, I can feel you breathe again. I have kept my prayers like lanterns, burning faithfully at night. I have crossed the longest winter with your promise as my light. Now my river has grown quiet, no more tears remain to fall. Can you soothe the waves within me when I barely hear your call? You carried me through oceans when my heart had lost the shore. If the night must linger longer, be the star I'm reaching for. I am still standing by you when the sky forgets its blue, when the sun becomes a memory and the rain comes pouring through. You promised to remain near me, so your words will lead me home. Though my branches wait for springtime, your love grows beneath my soul. I may bend beneath the tempest, but my roots are holding true with each breath that moves within me. I am still standing by you. If my heart has become a ruin, make its broken stones your throne. Plant a garden in my ashes, let your mercy lead me home. Quiet every restless thunder, pour your peace into my soul. Turn these chains into an anthem, heal the wounds that no one knows. I am still standing by you as the silence meets the dawn. Though my song became a whisper, you were with me all along. Let the mountains hear my answer, let the heavens hear it too. Every
standing by you. My strength is slowly rising, my faith remains awake. You are still standing beside me, and I am still standing.